Hello everyone, welcome back to D20 Sundays. I'm your host as always, Ian the Part-Time Dungeon Master. And today's on tactics, but before we get that, there's some links down in the description. Go give them a look for real quick and then come right back up. But yeah, tactics. So I was talking to one of my groups that I regularly run, and I was like, hey, this happened that one shot, and one of the players had actually watched the video, and they were like, yeah. It's like, have you ever thought about doing a video about tactics? Bravo Charlie, he talks down in the comments very often. But he's like, have you ever thought about doing a video about tactics, where you talk about, the proper way of engaging enemies while in combat? And I was like, oh, well, no, I haven't. So, here's that video. As far as the Manor di La Rosia group goes, yeah, I used a lot of expletives while describing their escapades. But at the same time, I'm never getting monetized, so I don't really care. I do this as a hobby. Alright? This is a hobby for me. It helps with my anxiety, it helps with my depression, and it helps me feel better. But yeah, so tactics. In that fight, in the final boss fight, all they had to do was deal damage to, Lady de la Rosia, the Puppet Master. That's all they had to do. AC 13, 90 hit points, and if they dealt damage to her, she had to make a concentration check to free the two idiots that she had under her spells. Now, when I did the mock battle, I counted on having 3 idiots under her spell. 3. Not 2, 3. So, when I did that, and still ran the numbers, essentially did the mock battle, I used my tactics, not because I thought, well, I know what the lady's capable of, so I should target her first. I used the knowledge of, she's the lady, she's in control, she has magic. If I hit her first and hit her hard enough, I can free my allies. If I hit her hard enough, I can make her drop and no more magic. And that's a basic tactic when it comes to Dungeons & Dragons. The fellow in front of you is swinging the big sword with the big plate armor. Yeah, no, he's not a problem. He's a problem, but he's not your problem. Your immediate problem is the spellcaster in the back, giving him buffs, healing him, pelting your party with magic. That guy is your problem. You need to take out the spellcaster first. I don't care if it's from your ranger, pelting him with arrows to make sure he can't keep any spells that require concentration up. I don't care if it's you yourself chucking spells at him. I don't care if it's your barbarian disregarding all, other threats and going straight for that scrawny wizard and strangling him. The fact remains is that, tactics-wise, the spellcasters have to go first. It's simple as that. Because that way they're not able to give any kind of magical support to the enemy. Be it healing, be it magic, be it whatever. Even if it's rangers back there, someone needs to take care of those rangers because they're a problem. Yeah, the big guy with the sword, yeah, he's annoying, but there's ways to essentially keep him at minimal damage to the rest of the group while you deal with the things that are pelting the group. So you need to think of that. Another tactic that a lot of people apparently forget about, this is not only thinking of Manor di La Rosia, but the other group, with one individual who likes throwing bombs, which is the idea of team damage. Please keep team damage to a minimum. For the love of all that there is. Jeez, yes, just because you think, okay, the barbarian has enough HP to survive this, doesn't mean it's okay to go chucking explosives near him. Because it's, 1, rude. 2, I might decide, since you weren't expecting the explosive from behind, you're going to take extra damage. Just to teach someone a lesson about, hey, stop doing team damage. The same goes for Fireball. If you have the ability to mold the Fireball into where you do not hit, your party members, cool, great, chuck away. If you have no abilities that allow you to mold it to where you don't hit your allies, then don't chuck it into combat. Chuck it away from melee combat. Chuck it at the spellcaster in the back. But yes, keep team damage to a minimum. The reason being is because you don't know what the other team might have up their sleeve on their turn. That's like, oh, hey, thanks for doing that extra damage to the barbarian. Haha, now I was able to knock him out. Yeah, that's what you got to worry about. Third thing for tactics, your surroundings. What is the combat arena like? And I don't mean like an actual arena. I mean the grid in which you're having combat in. What is the room like? What are you fighting and what is around you that you can use to your benefit? Can you cast animate object on, say, bear traps that are laying around? Can you, say, cast it on a large rock and, bulldoze or someone with it? Can you cast it on a bunch of caltrops and pretty much Gatling gun them with fucking caltrops? What can you do with the environment that you have around you to use it to your ability? I do know that there was one combat that I oversaw where it was a timed PvP event where it was the barbarian versus the ranger. They both started 30 feet apart away from each other. The ranger got first initiative and he pelted the barbarian with 2 arrows and then ran. And then he just used all of his actions to make sure that the barbarian could never catch up with him. And he just led him around the whole, arena. And that's what he did. And he won because the barbarian was never able to get close enough to hit him because, yeah, the barbarian had a higher movement speed, but the barbarian had to use his full movement speed plus a, standard action to dash just to get up close to him. But he didn't have any way of attacking him afterwards because there's no way he could attack. He couldn't use extra attack because he already used his standard action to attack, to dash. So the ranger, it's like, cool, you got close to me, disengage, and then he runs away and runs even further. And he just keeps doing it. And sure, at max I think the ranger could only move 60 feet, for his whole turn. The barbarian could move 80 feet for his whole turn. But because it required his whole turn to get back up close to the ranger, he had no way of actually attacking him. And if he didn't stay close to him, the ranger would just turn around, pop him 2 more, and run more. So it's like, well, he's got you. So using kiting tactics is another thing, but also, using the arena that you're fighting in to your advantage certainly helps. Because of the arena they were fighting in, the ranger had pretty much nothing to block, that, could possibly block his shots, and nothing to stop his movement because it was a wide open arena, there was no pillars, there was no rubble, nothing. And that's because that's what the barbarian wanted to fight in. Which, it was a poor choice for the barbarian because, once again, the size of the arena meant that the ranger could just constantly stay, just out of reach. But yeah, that's it as far as tactics go. The idea that, first, target the squishies, target the spellcasters, the ranged, and the healers. Stop doing team damage. Even if you think and you know that, hey, my team members have enough health to where whatever I do, they're going to be fine. It's what the enemies are going to do on their turn if you don't kill them. And use the arena that you're currently fighting in. I don't care if it's inside of a forest or it's on top of a glacier or whatever. Find some way of using the battlegrounds that you are currently in to your advantage. And finally, if able, kite your enemies to where they don't do much damage to you. Stay out of their reach, but never let them leave your reach. Anyways, that's it for today's episode. I'll catch you next time.